Eagles Entertainment.
Yeah. Gotta get their fast shot. Yeah. Gotta get their fast shot. There it is.
Welcome to the Eagles Insider Podcast, presented by Lincoln Financial Group. Our special edition here on this Tuesday from the NovaCare Complex. I'm Eagles Insider Dave Spadaro. And as the Eagles prepare for a second day of full pad workouts, let's get you caught up with everything that has happened to date. Now, I guess number one would be the injury report before we get to some players, TJ Edwards and Fletcher Cox, as well as head coach Doug Pederson, because there are some concerning names and injuries on this list. And leading the way, defensive tackle Javon Hargrave, the free agent signee from the Pittsburgh Steelers, an upper body injury. He is out, listed as out for multiple weeks, so we really don't know until we hear more from the Eagles and they specify his injury situation. But what does multiple weeks mean? Well, we're less than 4 weeks away from the opening game against the Washington football team on September 13th, so that is an injury worth monitoring. The good news is that Malik Jackson back on the practice field looking good. Javon Hargrave expected to be a key part of the defense. Defensive end Derek Barnett, who's played only 20 games in the last couple of years, week to week with a lower body injury. Eagles need to get him back thin at defensive end. Vinny Curry taking the reps as the starter at right defensive end on Monday. Josh Sweat, his backup. So the Eagles looking for some depth to emerge very quickly there. Players who are probably being held out a little bit on the cautious side here. Right guard Jason Peters, day-to-day with a lower body injury. Wide receiver J.J. Arcega-Whiteside, a lower body injury. He is listed as day-to-day. Both of those players watch practice from the sidelines in their jerseys. No pads, but jerseys on Monday, so that's encouraging. Duke Riley, Eagles linebacker, missed Monday's practice with an illness. We'll update those injuries for you later in the day on PhiladelphiaEagles.com and on our social media channels. By the way, make sure you're tuned in at 10:30 as we show you more from the team's practice at the NovaCare Complex Training Camp 2020 coming your way. All right, let's get into it here with the Eagles. Later on, we'll hear from Fletcher and TJ Edwards, two key players on the defense. First, Doug Pederson, spoke to him before yesterday's practice. More general questions about what he's looking for in these couple of weeks, and then a very quick turnaround as the focus turns to Washington. Head coach Doug Pederson getting ready to take his Philadelphia Eagles out on the field. First padded practice session of Training Camp 2020. Coach Doug, you know, I know the mood changes when the pads go on. Can you describe what the feeling is like with these guys getting ready to have contact and to have really the first practice, the first padded practice and contact since the playoffs last year?
Yeah, you know, the guys are excited for a day like today. You know, we've kind of been in our shorts or our, you know, the helmets and shells for the last couple of days, and you know, it's time. It's time to take the next step. We're football players, we're football coaches, and it's a contact sport. So guys are excited for day one, and it's a great opportunity to you know, really see our team move around with the pads on, and you know, there's times where you know, it's how we protect each other during these padded days, but yet still be able to practice fast, get our work done, and just see where our team is at this point.
How do you feel about the mental retention of everything that's happened from the virtual offseason through these acclimation periods to this point?
I've been you know, really pleasantly surprised with the retention, the mental side of where our guys are. You know, that's one of the things that I think concerned me a little bit about coming into camp was how much of the virtual meetings, you know, are going to really, I guess, kind of carry over to training camp, and so, you know, but I've been pleased. I've been pleased with the mental retention, with our, not only our veteran players. It's almost like they picked up where we left off in January, and that's exciting. And then for our young guys to come in and to be able to make minimal mistakes right now. I know that once we get down the road here a couple of days and fatigue really begins to set in, the mind is the first thing that kind of, you know, gets affected. So I'll be curious to see where everybody, you know, is at here in about, you know, 2 or 3 more days.
You just finished a teleconference with reporters, and the tone of a lot of the questions is, Doug, how are you going to make up for? And Doug, you're behind here, and you didn't have the benefit of this. But I know the way you think. It's not what didn't I have, it's what I do moving forward. Do you feel like you've gotten everything in that you needed to get in to this point?
You know, we're in a really good spot, I think, all three phases, offense, defense, and special teams. We've been able to spend a lot of time, you know, with our players on the field, coaching, teaching, put a lot of different situations in. And now, because we're going into pads, now we can just enhance what we've already put in. I would say that, you know, from a defensive standpoint, Jim's got pretty much his whole defensive, you know, philosophy and schemes and packages in, and same way on offense. Now it's just a matter of going back and reviewing, going back from my standpoint, putting the team in those situations in practice, you know, not just typical first and second down, but put them in third down situations, fourth down, 2-point conversions, put them in the red zone, put them in backed up. Now's the time to really focus in on those situations, you know, moving forward.
And you're also trying to reduce the roster and find the best team for September 13th. Where on this roster do you feel are the most challenging position battles?
Well, I think, you know, the first one is always going to be those backup offensive linemen. You know, that take your starters out. There's always some good competition there, but who's going to be your 6th, 7th, 8th guy on game day that gives you an opportunity to come up and play and dress and help your teams? There's some really good battles there. And conversely, on the defensive line side, you know, with some of the battles that we have going on at D tackle, D end, who are those guys going to be? Obviously, at the receiver position, with some of the youth that we have there, I'm excited to see some of these young guys perform and compete and go against our starters on defense, go against Darius Slay and go against Avonte Maddox and Rodney McLeod and guys like that to see exactly where they are. And then I think, too, I look at our linebackers. We got some young, talented linebackers, not only guys that we've had on our roster or had currently on our roster, but the new additions this year. So that's going to be an interesting battle to me to keep our eye on as we move throughout these next couple of weeks.
Finally, Doug, in baseball, sometimes they say early in the season, the pitching is ahead of the hitting. Do you feel in this environment, offense is ahead of the defense or defense ahead of the offense?
It's hard to gauge right now. I think we'll get a better sense of that here in the next couple of days. Typically, first part of the year, it's always defense ahead of the offense until offenses kind of gain traction and get their identity, so to speak. But these are all things that we have to sort of fast forward, right? And we have to figure this out in a hurry as we move forward in these next couple of weeks and get ready for Washington. So, you know, but I am excited because we do have a veteran group on offense, you know, and I do feel like they're in a really good spot right now. But we've got to continue to work, put in the hard work and dedication every single day and get ourselves prepared.
Yeah, I was going to say, what do you want this offensive identity to be?
You know, I think you know, we continue to utilize the strength of our quarterback, you know, and we're still going to maintain a mindful, aggressive, mindful mentality. Meaning we're going to be aggressive on third down. We're going to be aggressive on fourth down, as you guys know. And, you know, we're going to maintain that. There's a balance between the run and the pass, obviously, but we want to be aggressive down the field. And, you know, we weren't as good a year ago down the field, and we want to be better there. And you know, so I'm looking forward to that and trying to establish a really good, you know, but we got to establish what our quarterback is good at and use his strengths to really bolster the offense.
Doug Pederson, thanks so much. Have a great day at practice. We'll talk to you soon.
Thanks, Dave.
Thank you, Doug.
Thank you, Dave.
Defensive tackle Fletcher Cox, one of the best in the NFL, an All-Pro, a Pro Bowler, expected to flat out dominate up front. And he's also got a lot to catch up on here. I hadn't talked to him for a while. So a little time with Fletcher Cox about football and about his offseason as he gets ready for another year leading the Eagles defense from the interior of that line of scrimmage. It's time to catch up with the superstar defensive tackle of Philadelphia Eagles, Fletcher Cox. I'm Eagles insider Dave Spadaro. Fletcher, describe training camp in 20 words or less.
Describe camp. It's very weird. It takes some getting used to. Being that, you know, now normally you come into training camp without a ramp-up period. Now you have a ramp-up period, and, you know, now we're getting to the swing of things, first day of pass.
But I mean, like in general, is it your favorite time of the year? Is it your least favorite time of the year? Does it suck? I mean, what is it?
It don't suck. It's actually pretty good though. Getting you prepared for the season, trying to get everybody out on the field, and it actually give you a solid month of just competing against your the same player every day. Getting each other better, and then after a while, you go beat up on somebody else. So it's really good. It's exciting. It's competitive to see where you at. It tests you, especially those dog days.
Yeah.
But it's always a good time.
You are one of the veterans here. I wonder, do you notice year to year the locker room different? I mean, guys come and go. Is it a different locker room now? Different personality?
Oh yeah, always, man. I've been here since since 2012, and the biggest thing is you see new faces every year. But you have to welcome. The thing I've learned and taught myself is, they bring those new guys in for a reason for different reasons, and you just welcome those guys with open arms. And as I say every year, you get those guys and you let them know how we do things around here, how things are, how they do things around here, what they expect out of every player, every position. And, you just roll with it and you just, take those guys under your arms and, go to war with them.
And I wonder for a guy like Slay, who you love and know from his college days, when he comes from a place like Detroit, and I'm not shading Detroit here, but they haven't won like the Eagles have won. So when he comes into this locker room, do you see him go, whoa, man, there's some great energy here that maybe he didn't experience somewhere else?
Yeah, he always talk about it. If you know Slay, like if people know Slay, like I know Slay, he's a super, super competitive guy. He's competitive at everything he do, and he have fun while doing it. You see him in the locker room now, just smiling and joking around, and you like to see that out of new guys that come from another team. You like to see that because that means that, they're feeling the energy from everybody else. And, when guys feel the energy from everybody else, they just make them want to go out and just compete just that much more.
I know this is a ridiculous question. We got 27 days to go before the opener, only one day in pads. But do you have a sense of what this defense can be?
Absolutely. I think guys are flying around. Guys have, flying around with a sense of urgency, and that's the biggest thing. Guys having a sense of urgency. Everybody getting to the ball, knowing that we don't have as much time as we normally have to get things right. So guys got to hold each other accountable. Guys got to be there for each other. Be where your feet are. And the biggest thing for us is make sure that we're playing together as a group and communicating.
Fletcher, long off season. What did one thing that you accomplished, whether it was a book you wanted to read or a house you wanted to build or a amount of weights you wanted to lift, one thing that really stands out from your off season?
I didn't do much for the off season. It was a long off season, but I did get a chance to, as everybody know, I did get a chance to work on, on the ranch for like every day after my workouts. A lot of people ask me how I did. I just go work out, take care of my business, and go have a little fun, kind of relax, and just hanging out. Obviously, while doing that and enjoying it, just enjoying life.
I forgot you're the big horseback rider. You're the big guy on the horse, right? What is on that ranch, Fletch? Give me a little visual of what's happening at the Fletcher Cox Ranch.
We got just about any African animal you can name. We got a bunch of animals. I can name some African game. So we got gimbuk, we got zebras, we got stag, red stag, elk, just white-tailed deer, black buck, axis deer, just about any animal you can name, we got it on the place. And it's fun to just see those animals out there, just grazing, and it's different. If you've never seen it, it's really different.
And how many acres do you have?
It's 1,200 acres.
1,200 acres?
But that's small in Texas, though, so,
you getting up early in the morning, and you're not getting up early and milking the cows, are you?
No, I ain't milking no cows.
Have you ever milked a cow?
I have been to a dairy farm before, and it's not really milking the cow, though. It's just like hookup machines now.
Okay.
Oh,
that's true. Yeah, I'm thinking the old days.
Yeah, you think about the old days, yeah.
So would you ever put on the boots and do what?
You can actually do it. You can actually do it in flip-flops. It's that easy.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay. Alpacas. Do you have alpacas out there?
No, we don't have alpacas.
Okay, well that's for next summer. Get alpacas out there.
Yeah, we're gonna let you buy that. All right.
I'll bring it. Hey, you invite me down. I'll bring some alpacas down for you. Fletcher Cox, thanks so much. Good to see you smiling. Keep up the energy and have a great training camp.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Dave. See you.
In his second season, linebacker T.J. Edwards is emerging as potentially a very key player here. Was not drafted in 2019 out of Wisconsin. The Eagles were high on him after they saw him in training camp, and now it looks like there's a path for Edwards to have a role, potentially as a starter. T.J. Edwards, year 2, is looking for more. Linebacker TJ Edwards back for more in year number 2 with the Philadelphia Eagles. Hello, everyone. I'm Eagles insider Dave Spadaro. TJ, last time I talked to you, you were, well, I wouldn't say you were chilling out on your parents' couch in Chicago, but it was a different kind of off-season for you.
Yeah.
How did everything work out?
Yeah, no, it was good. I got to spend a lot of time back home with my family, and got to do a lot of training back in Wisconsin and kind of get back to my roots a little bit. So it was fun. I think just being around family and getting a full off season of training, really.
So I say you're back for more in year number 2.
Yeah.
What does that mean to you?
Yeah, I mean, I just I want to solidify my role, whatever that may be. But I want to first make this team and prove that I deserve to be here and earn the respect of the guys around me. But whatever role I have, I want to solidify that, and I want to do that to the best of my ability.
What is so hard about linebacker in the NFL versus linebacker in college? Can you kind of break it down for us?
I just think, I think in college, I think the NFL, and just in terms of communicating the front and the back end, and in college, that's kind of similar, but I think there's a lot more into defensive techniques in the NFL and just being able to do things on the fly. And you're really the quarterback of the defense. There's not a whole lot of signals where everyone's looking at someone else. It's a huddle. It's guys looking at you for the call. So it's exciting, man. It's a fun position to play for sure.
Now, assuming that every defensive player will listen to this answer, do you believe the linebackers are the best athletes on defense in the NFL?
I would probably say no. I'd probably say the DBs are definitely the best athletes, or the defensive tackles, just because those guys are that big, moving that fast and that powerful. So I think that's tough to judge. But I think in terms of communication, it's a very important role.
It's also so challenging. You have to be physical in the run fit,
Yep.
and you've got to cover these backs. You've got this incredible quickness and change of direction in space. I mean, this is a remarkable amount of athletic ability it takes to play linebacker.
Yeah, I mean, I think that goes a long way of having some God-given athletic ability, but also just knowing your techniques and knowing leverage and things like that is something that I've always tried to make sure I'm doing all the time. So I think that helps as well. But it's you got to be on your P's and Q's every day.
If you were to have a split screen of TJ Edwards this time 1 year ago, this time today, what would you see different?
I just think in terms of confidence, it'd be different. Not that my confidence was low last year, but I just really was kind of scrambling in terms of figuring out what I was doing and trying to take on a lot at one time, because that's how it is in the NFL. But I think this year I just have a better understanding of what's going on around me and what is expected and what is needed to be done to make this team. So I'm really just pedal to the metal, making sure that I can do that.
So when they say that from year 1 to year 2 you make your biggest leap,
you
now experience it. What's it like? Does it all slow down for you?
Yeah, I think right now I think those especially those first couple days, it was things are moving a little quick, just because it was kind of the first time seeing everything. Seeing a quarterback take a snap and those things, seeing that live is a lot different. But now it's day 3, day 4 of us actually practicing, and I feel light years different from last year. And just in terms of communication and what's going on around me, it's very way better feeling than last year.
It would appear, TJ, that there is a path for you to have a substantial role in this defense. And I know you said you're just trying to make it and establish your role, but that role could be really significant. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, I'm excited, and I think in this group of linebackers that we have, I think everyone is really up in their competition game and bringing everyone along, and I think that helps everyone get better. But I'm definitely whatever, like I said before, whatever that role is, I want to do it to the best of my ability, and I want to take that spot and earn it as well.
I want to go off the field for a moment. In your bio, your 3-step drop, you talked about the Madden game, of being a little awestruck when you walk into the Eagles locker room and you see guys you played Madden with. Number one, tell me about your Madden game, who you played with, and is there a Madden competition in the locker room?
I mean, like I said before, it was surreal kind of seeing all that. But Madden, I honestly haven't played in a while. But I think I definitely played with the Eagles at first, just to kind of see it, just to kind of experience that. And I think you really see D-Jack's speed when you're playing in the game. And then you watch them live, and it all kind of makes sense. But we play a lot of Call of Duty in the Xbox, in the linebacker room, so I think that's got a little competition going to it as well.
Okay, and is this an active competition, TJ? Is there like a winner crowned at the end of the year?
Not yet. I think we'll get there. I think guys are getting in their playbooks, which is good. So not a lot of people have been playing right now, but I think, towards the end or something like that, we'll definitely get something going because all we like to do is compete. So it'll be fun.
Last one for you. How would you describe the training camp life while you're at NovaCare and then when you're away from here?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely different, but, we do such a good job around here of, just the staff, making sure that everyone is equipped and everyone is safe. And, you really just have to do a good job of trusting your teammates that everyone's doing what they need to do in order to keep everyone safe because, you really don't want to lose anyone. You don't want to get anyone sick from this virus. So it's really, you're really trusting each other to do the right thing often, when you're here and when you're not here. So, and we've been doing pretty good right so far.
Do you want to sign off with a hi to your family?
Yeah. What's up, Mom and Dad? My girlfriend, Kelly. Good to see you guys. Miss you guys.
I love it. Hey, TJ Edwards, thanks so much for joining us. Good luck in training camp.
Appreciate it,
Can't
Dave.
wait for the opener against Washington.
You know it. Thanks, Dave.
Thank you. And that will do it for this special edition of the Eagles Insider Podcast, presented by Lincoln Financial Group. I want to thank Peter Kelly and Ray Doyle for their work. Thanks to all of you for joining us. If you have a moment to give us a review, we would very much appreciate it. And we're back with more on Wednesday from the NovaCare Complex, the site of the Eagles 2020 training camp. And guys, we're only 26 days away from the opener against Washington. Can you believe it? Hey everyone, thanks for joining. Hope you have a great Eagles day. And once again, fly, Eagles, fly. Let's enjoy this season.
E-A-T-L-E-A